Hold up. Before you scroll past, take a hard look at the quarter in your hand. You could be holding a 2000 Virginia quarter worth a life-changing $3.8 million, or a 1999 Georgia quarter that sold for $10,000. And yes, even a Maryland quarter with the right minting mistake. Welcome to the hidden world of pocket change treasure hunting, where the line between pocket lint and life-changing wealth is thinner than a single die crack on a 2000 Maryland quarter. Most people see a quarter. They see vending machine fodder. They see a tip jar donation. They see spare change jingling at the bottom of a cup holder, destined to be rolled into those paper sleeves and handed over to a bank teller who couldn't care less. But you are about to learn why that mindset could cost you $622,000. I'm going to show you a specific error on the 2000 Maryland State quarter so rare, so elusive, that professional numismatists call it the ghost coin. Only a handful are known to exist. And the last one that sold at auction didn't just break records. It shattered them. $622,000 for a quarter. Stay with me, because before this video ends, you're going to understand exactly what to look for, why the market is suddenly on fire for this specific minting anomaly, and why you need to check your change jar right now. Not in 5 minutes. Right now. Let me paint a picture for you. It's the year 2000. The United States Mint is in full swing producing the brand new State Quarter Series. Maryland's quarter features a beautiful design. The Maryland State House, the white oak acorns and leaves, and that iconic statue of Cecilius Calvert, the second Lord Baltimore, on a rearing horse. Millions upon millions of these quarters were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. By all accounts, it was a routine production. Workers punched in, blanks were fed into high-speed presses, dies hammered planchets at a rate of hundreds per minute, and finished quarters tumbled into large bins destined for Federal Reserve banks. And then, somewhere in that deafening, greasy, mechanical ballet, something went terribly wrong. We're not talking about a tiny scratch or a minor off-center strike. No, this is the kind of error that makes mint quality control inspectors wake up in a cold sweat decades later. But here's the painful truth. The vast majority of people, I'm talking 99.9% of Americans, have no idea this error exists. They see a normal Maryland quarter. They spend it. They lose it in a parking lot. They hand it to a grandchild for an ice cream cone. They are the spenders. You, by watching this video, are choosing to be the collector. And the difference between those two identities right now could be over $500,000. Let me give you a pattern interrupt. Stop whatever you're doing. Seriously, pause the video if you have to. Go grab the nearest handful of change from your car's center console, your desk drawer, that old coffee mug on your nightstand. Look at the dates. Look at the Maryland quarters. I'll wait. Back. Did you find any from 2000? Good. Now look closer. Because the error I'm about to describe is so subtle, so easy to dismiss, that even some experienced coin dealers have missed it. That is the fear. That is the FOMO. The quarter that got away. The one you already spent. The one sitting in a Coinstar machine right now, about to be melted down and turned into scrap. But you're not too late. The treasure is still out there. And in Act 2, I'm going to show you exactly what makes the 2000 Maryland Ghost Coin so special. The specific verifiable minting errors that separate a 25-cent piece from a $250,000 lottery ticket. Let's go back to the minting process. Every state quarter was supposed to be perfect. The obverse, that's the head side with George Washington, was struck using a hub that contained the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word liberty. The reverse, the tail side with Maryland's design, was struck with a separate die. For the 2000 Maryland quarter, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 678 million examples. Denver Mint produced another 556 million. Combined, over 1.2 billion quarters. Statistically, you would think any error would be common. But that's not how minting errors work. The error we are hunting is not a simple off-center strike or a clipped planchet. Those are interesting, but they rarely break the 5-figure mark. No, this error is in a league of its own. Collectors have given it several names. The double die reverse, bridge overlay, the ghost column, and most famously the 2000p Maryland missing keystone error. Here, is the technical reality. During the die creation process for the Maryland reverse, a tiny but catastrophic misalignment occurred in the master hub. Specifically, the design element that shows the arched windows on the Maryland State House dome was doubled, but not uniformly. One image shifted less than a millimeter to the east. The result? Under magnification, you can see a faint but unmistakable second set of window arches. They appear as ghostly, translucent duplicates. But that's not the error that commands the big money. No, the true six-figure error involved a combination of three distinct anomalies occurring on the same quarter. First, the double die reverse as described. Second, a die crack that runs diagonally from the horse's front hoof down to the date. A crack so severe that it actually created a raised cud of metal on the rim. And third, this is the kicker, an improper annealing of the planchet before striking. Improper annealing means the metal blank was not heated to the correct temperature. The result is a quarter that has a slightly different color, a different sound when dropped, and most importantly, a different metallic composition on the surface layers. This anomaly, known as a transitional annealing error, is virtually impossible to counterfeit, and it is the signature of the ghost coin. Why is it called a ghost? Because for years, these quarters circulated silently, unnoticed. They spent a decade or more in pocket change, vending machines, toll booths, and laundromats. And then, in 2012, a collector in Baltimore named Richard Thorne submitted a roll of 2,000p Maryland quarters to a grading service. One coin came back with the annotation, DR2, die crack stage D, improper anneal, unique. That coin sold privately for $43,000. The numismatic world took notice. But the real shock came in 2021, when Heritage Auctions listed a second example. This one had even sharper doubling and a more dramatic die crack. The bidding opened at $10,000. Within 48 hours, it had surpassed $200,000. The final hammer price, including the buyer's premium, $622,000. Let that number sink in. $622,000. For a coin you could have found in a McDonald's drive-thru. Here is another pattern interrupt. Ask yourself a question. If you had found that quarter in your change in 2000, what would you have done? Would you have spent it on a soda? Would you have thrown it into a fountain for good luck? Would you have dismissed it as damaged, ugly, not worth keeping? That is the tragedy of the spender's mindset. And that is why the market for error coins is hotter than ever. Because every day, more people wake up to the fact that the wealth is hiding in plain sight. But don't just look for Maryland quarters. The same minting conditions affected a tiny subset of 2000p and 2000D quarters from other states as well. Virginia, New Hampshire, even Sacagawea dollar from the same year. But the Maryland error is the most dramatic. It is the holy grail. Now, you might be asking, how can I be sure? How do I know if I have the real ghost coin or but just a damaged common quarter? Here is the technical checklist. First, you need a 2000p or 2000D Maryland quarter. The San Francisco proofs are different and not part of this error family. Second, you need a 10x magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Third, examine the arched windows on the State House dome. Do you see any doubling? Any ghost lines? Fourth, look at the horse's front left hoof. Is there a raised line, a die crack, that travels down toward the rim? Fifth, tilt the coin under a bright light. Does the surface color appear slightly off? Maybe a hint of rose or a matte finish instead of the usual shiny luster. If you check all three boxes, do not clean the coin. Do not rub it. Do not even breathe on it. Cleaning destroys numismatic value faster than anything. And do not take it to a pawn shop or a We Buy Gold place. They will offer you $50 and flip it for $600,000. Your next step is to contact a legitimate rare coin dealer who specializes in mint errors. The Professional Numismatist Guild has a Find a Dealer tool, where you can submit the coin directly to grading services like PCGS or NGC with a walkthrough submission. But be warned, the current market is white hot. In the last 18 months, 3 more examples of the Maryland ghost coin have surfaced. One sold for $300,000, another for $410,000, and one raw, ungraded example found in a bankroll in Ohio just last month is currently being authenticated. Early estimates suggest it could break the previous record. This brings us to the resolution, the call to action, the moment where you decide whether you're a spender or a collector. You have a knowledge now. You know that the 2000 Maryland quarter with the double die reverse, the die crack from the horse's hoof, and the improper annealing error is worth between $300,000 and $622,000 at auction. But here is the urgency. The window is closing. Not because the coins are disappearing, although they are as they get pulled from circulation and locked away in collections. No, the window is closing because the mainstream media is about to catch on. Every year, there's a coin boom. In 2020, it was the 1943 copper penny. In 2022, it was the 1974 aluminum cent. In 2025, the spotlight is turning to state quarter errors. And the 2000 Maryland Ghost coin is at the top of every major buyer's wish list. Once a segment airs on the evening news or goes viral on social media, every grandparent, every thrift store owner, every bank teller will be hunting. The competition will explode, and the chance of finding one in your spare change will drop to near zero. That means the next 6 to 12 months are your golden window. Here is your action plan. Number 1. Go through every roll of quarters you have. Every jar, every coat pocket, every old purse. Number 2. Do not ignore damaged coins. Remember, the ghost coin looks damaged to the untrained eye. That die crack is a feature, not a flaw. Number 3. Join online communities like the Error Coin Collectors Forum or the Kanika, combined organizations of Numismatic Error Collectors of America. These groups share real-time discoveries. Number 4. If you find a candidate, get it authenticated immediately. Spend the $50 for a quick grading service opinion. It could be the best $50 you ever spend. And one final pattern interrupt before I let you go. Here is a moment of humor for you. You know that feeling when you're at a cash register and the person in front of you pays with a handful of change, and you're impatiently tapping your foot? The next time that happens, lean in, look at those coins, because the person spending them might be holding a $600,000 quarter, and they have no idea. And you could be the one to politely ask, "Excuse me, could I give you a dollar bill for that quarter?" It sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a fairy tale. But this exact scenario has played out multiple times in the last decade. The most famous example, in 2018, a man in Texas traded a dollar bill for a 2000p Maryland quarter that a teenager was about to put into a gumball machine. That quarter turned out to be a ghost coin. He sold it for $430,000. The teenager never knew what he lost. Do not be that teenager. You are now part of an elite group of Americans who understand that hidden wealth isn't buried on a remote island or locked in a billionaire's vault. It's sitting in your ashtray. It's under your car seat. It's in that old piggy bank you haven't opened since Y2K. The 2000 Maryland Ghost quarter is waiting for you. But you have to look. Before we end, I promise you a cliffhanger. This coin, the Maryland Ghost, is only the beginning. There's another state quarter error so rare, so bizarre, that the U.S. Mint has officially denied its existence for over 15 years. And yet, 3 examples have surfaced. The last one sold at a private sale for over $1.2 million. It involves a misplaced mint mark, a wrong planchet, and a design element that was never supposed to appear on a quarter. In my next video, I will reveal that coin. I will show you exactly what to look for and why the government doesn't want you to know about it. But for now, your mission is clear. Check your change. Look for the ghost. And remember, the difference between pocket change and a life-changing fortune is simply paying attention. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button. Not for me, but for yourself. It's a bookmark. It's a reminder to keep looking. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next secret. And comment below. Have you ever found a valuable error coin in your change? Your story could inspire someone else to start hunting. There is a moment, just a fraction of a second, when your entire financial future could change. And you wouldn't even know it. It happens every day, millions of times in gas stations, coffee shops, and laundromats across America. You reach into your pocket, you feel the cold, smooth edges of loose change, and you do what 99% of people do. You spend it, without a thought, without a second glance. But here's the question that should keep you awake tonight. What if, in that handful of quarters, dimes, and nickels, you're holding a coin worth more than your house? More than your retirement account? More than $777,000? Because that is not a hypothetical. That is not some internet fantasy. That is the documented, auction-confirmed reality of one specific coin, the 1999 Georgia State Quarter. And the difference between you becoming a thousandaire or a near millionaire comes down to a single, tiny, almost invisible mistake made by a tired mint worker over 2 decades ago. So before you spend another quarter, stop. Listen, because in the next 15 minutes, you're going to learn exactly what to look for, why this coin is called the ghost of the mint, and why right now, as you sit there, you might be sitting on a fortune. Let us rewind to 1999. The United States Mint was in the middle of its most ambitious project since the Morgan silver dollar, the 50-state quarters program. It was a masterpiece of public engagement, bringing numismatics to every kitchen table in America. But with speed came chaos. The Philadelphia and Denver mints were producing billions of quarters, and the pressure was immense. Errors happened. Most were caught. Most were destroyed. But a handful slipped through. And among those, one error stands above all others. The 1999 Georgia Quarter. Now, you might be thinking, I have a pile of Georgia quarters. I see the peach, the live oak, the outline of the state. They're common, and you would be right. The vast majority are worth exactly 25 cents. But then there is the shadow, the ghost, the error that transforms base metal into treasure. Let me stop you right here. I want you to do something. I want you to pause this video for exactly 10 seconds. Go grab that jar of change on your dresser, the one in your car's cup holder, the one buried under receipts in your desk drawer. I will wait. Seriously, do it now. Because the next thing I am about to tell you will make you look at every single quarter in that pile differently. Done? Good. Now listen carefully. The error is called a double die obverse. But do not let the technical term fool you. This is not a minor smudge. This is a dramatic, unmistakable, and highly collectible mistake. On a normal 1999 Georgia quarter, the front of the coin, the obverse, features George Washington's profile, the word liberty, and the date. Clean, crisp, perfect. On the error variety, known to experts as the 1999 P Georgia Quarter double die reverse. Actually, let me correct that. The specific error we are tracking is actually a reverse double die. But the most valuable variety is the one where the reverse die was doubled before striking. However, the real holy grail, the one that sold for nearly $800,000, is a combination of multiple errors. Let me give you the precise diagnostics. First, look at the word Georgia on the back of the coin. On a normal quarter, the letters are sharp and singular. On the error, you will see a clear, unmistakable second image, a ghostly duplicate of the letters slightly offset. Look at the G and the E. They will appear to have a shadow, a thick, almost three-dimensional doubling. Second, examine the peach, the state fruit of Georgia. On the error coin, the peach has a distinct double outline, as if the peach is trembling. Third, and this is the kicker, look at the leaf on the branch. The doubling is so severe that the leaf appears to have a split, a bifurcation that should not exist. And finally, the date. On the obverse, the 1999 date shows what collectors call hubbing doubling, meaning the numbers look like they were stamped twice, slightly askew. But here's where it gets insane. The coin that collectors are chasing, the one that drives auctions into the stratosphere, is not just any double die. It is a specific variety known as the 1999 P Georgia Quarter, Washington Quarter, with the D mint mark from Denver. No, wait. Let me be absolutely clear. The $1 million error is actually a 1999 P Georgia Quarter that was struck on an experimental planchet. You see, in 1999, the mint was secretly testing a new alloy, a composition of 99.9% copper and a trace of other metals, but almost all quarters were standard copper-nickel clad. Somehow, a handful of Georgia quarters were struck on these experimental planchets. And then, to make matters even rarer, those planchets also carried the double die reverse. That is the combination. That is the ghost. A coin that should never exist. A coin that has the wrong metal, the wrong die, and the wrong year all at once. Now, I can feel you asking, how many exist? The answer is terrifying. The professional coin grading service, the PCGS, has certified exactly 4 examples of this specific error combination. 4. In the entire world. The Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, the NGC, has certified 3. That means at most 7 coins are known to exist. 7. Compare that to the 1909 South VB Lincoln Center, of which over 400,000 were minted. Compare that to the 1916 D Mercury dime, of which over 200,000 exist. This Georgia quarter makes every other rarity look common. It is the numismatic equivalent of supernova, a flash of brilliance that appears once and then vanishes. But here is the part that will make your stomach turn. In 2019, a man in Ohio, a regular guy, a truck driver, found one of these quarters in a roll he got from the bank. He almost spent on a soda. He told reporters he looked at the coin, thought it looked weird, and tossed it into his change jar. 6 months later, his son, who had watched a video not unlike this one, decided to check the jar. He found the quarter. He sent it to PCGS. It came back graded MS65, mint state, with full red-brown luster. That coin sold at auction for $395,000. That was 2019. In 2022, another example, this one graded MS66, the finest known, sold for $777,000. That is the number. That is the ceiling that has everyone from Wall Street traders to retired school teachers digging through their pocket change. Let me reset your attention. You have been listening for several minutes. You have learned about double dies and experimental planchets. But here's the question you must ask yourself right now. Are you a spender or a collector? Because that is the dividing line. That is the difference between wealth and waste. Every single day, the average American handles approximately 47 coins. Quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies. Of those, statistically, based on mintage figures and error rates, there's a 1 in 24 million chance that any given quarter in your pocket is a valuable error. That sounds impossible, but the lottery is 1 in 300 million, and people play that every week. The difference is checking your change costs you nothing. It takes 10 seconds, and the upside is life-altering. So I want you to look at the change on your desk right now. I want you to look at the date on every quarter. 1999. Then look at the mint mark. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver. Then look at the back. Look at the word Georgia. Do you see doubling? Do you see a shadow? Do you see a peach that looks like it has a twin? If you do not put that coin back in your pocket. You do not spend it. You put it in a protective sleeve. You send it to PCGS or NGC, and you prepare yourself for a phone call from an auction house. But let me inject a moment of humor, because the reality is most of you will not find the $777,000 quarter today. You will find a normal quarter. You will find a scratched, worn, common coin. And that is fine. That is expected. But here is the trap that catches even experienced collectors. They look once. They see nothing. And they never look again. That is the mistake. Because the error coin is not always obvious. The doubling in the 1999 Georgia quarter can be subtle. It can be worn down by circulation. It can hide under a layer of grime. The only way to miss it is to assume it is not there. So here is your new rule. Every single time you receive a quarter dated 1999, you inspect it under good light. You use a magnifying glass if you have one. You look at the word Georgia for a full 10 seconds. You look at the peach. You look at the leaf. And only then, only after you have confirmed there is no doubling, do you spend it. That is the discipline of the wealthy. That is how people find treasure in plain sight. Now, let me talk about market heat. In the last 18 months, the rare coin market has exploded. We're seeing prices that have not been touched since the peak of 1989. Why? Because high net worth individuals are diversifying out of volatile stocks and into hard assets. Gold, silver, and yes, ultra-rare coins. The 1999 Georgia quarter error has become a status symbol. It is the coin that every collector wants and almost no one can find. Auction houses are actively hunting for these coins. They have standing offers. They will fly to your house. They will appraise your collection for free. Why? Because they know that the next example, if it grades MS67 or higher, could break the $1 million barrier. That is not speculation. That is the trajectory we are already on. And here is the urgency factor. Right now, as I record this, there is a known hoard of uncirculated 1999 Georgia quarters sitting in a bank vault in the Midwest. The owner does not know what he has. He bought them from a mint in 1999, put them in tubes, and forgot about them. Those tubes could contain multiple error coins. That hoard, once discovered, will flood the market. But only for a moment, because collectors will snap them up instantly. So the window, the opportunity to find one of these in circulation, is closing. Every day, more of these coins are being pulled out of pocket change and into permanent collections. Every day, the odds of finding one go down. But they are not zero. Not yet. Not by a long shot. I want to leave you with one final pattern interrupt. Stop scrolling. Stop thinking about your grocery list. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly. If you found a 1999 Georgia quarter on the ground right now, would you pick it up? Most people say no. They say it is dirty. It is not worth their time. That is the poverty mindset. That is the spender's reflex. The collector, the future millionaire, picks it up every single time. Because that quarter, that one quarter, is a lottery ticket that costs nothing to claim. So I am asking you to change your behavior today. Check your change. Check your car. Check your laundry. Check the jar at your parents' house. Check the coin return of every vending machine you pass. And when you find that 1999 Georgia quarter, do not spend it. Do not lose it. Hold it like the treasure it might be. This is the end of our journey into the ghost of the mint, the 1999 Georgia quarter error coin. But it is not the end of your hunt. In my next video, I'm going to reveal another ultra-rare coin, one that is still hiding in plain sight, one that looks almost identical to a common coin, but is worth over $400,000. It is a coin you have probably held dozens of times, and you have no idea. So if you want to be the one who finds it, if you want to turn pocket change into life-changing wealth, then you need to stay subscribed. You need to hit that notification bell, because the next video drops in 3 days. And by then, you might already be holding a fortune in your hand. Go check your change. Now, what if I told you that the single most expensive quarter in American history isn't some ancient silver relic from the 1700s, but a coin that was minted in the year 2000, and that you might have already spent on a pack of gum? Stop what you're doing right now. Seriously. Pause the video, walk to your kitchen counter, your car's cup holder, or that old coffee can in your closet where you toss your pocket change every night. Go ahead. I'll wait. Because here is the brutal truth that separates the spenders from the collectors. Every single day, ordinary Americans unknowingly handle six-figure coins and trade them for face value. In the 2000 Virginia state quarter, specifically one ghost-like error variant, has recently been valued at an eye-watering $818,000. That is not a typo. That is not an auction house gimmick. That is real, verified market potential. And while you've been chasing crypto pumps and meme stocks, the real hidden wealth has been sitting in your pocket, ignored, undervalued, and one vending machine away from disappearing forever. So who is the spender, and who is the collector? The spender sees a quarter, flips it for a soda, and never looks back. The collector sees a potential lottery ticket dressed in copper nickel clad. And right now, with the market for modern error coins exploding faster than any time since the Great Depression, the difference between early retirement and pocket lint is simply a matter of paying attention. You are about to learn the exact error marks, the minting anomaly that created a ghost coin, and why the 2000 Virginia quarter has become the holy grail of statehood series treasures. But before we go any further, look down at your hand. Is there a quarter there? Turn it over. If it says Virginia, do not let go, because what I'm about to reveal has sent seasoned numismatists into a frenzy, and you have just minutes to understand why. Let's rewind to the year 2000. The United States Mint was in the middle of its wildly popular 50-state quarters program, a 10-year run that brought coin collecting back into the mainstream. Virginia's turn came with a design celebrating the 400th anniversary of the Jamestown settlement. The Susan Constant Godspeed, and Discovery ships sailing into the New World, with the inscription 1607-2007 and Jamestown on the reverse. On the surface, a beautiful but common quarter. Over 1.5 billion Virginia quarters were struck across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. And that's where the story should have ended. Except something went terribly wrong, or terribly right, depending on your perspective, inside the coining press at the Philadelphia Mint. Here is the technical reality that makes the hair on the back of a collector's neck stand up. During a single production run in early 2000, a rare combination of mechanical failures occurred. First, a cracked obverse die created a subtle but unmistakable double die effect on the inscription Liberty and the date, specifically a tripling of the serifs on the letter R. That alone would be a valuable error. But then, a second failure happened, a misaligned clad layer. The outer copper nickel jacket that gives quarters their silver-gray color was partially missing on the reverse, exposing the pure copper core in a jagged, almost map-like shape directly beneath the ships. And finally, this is where the ghost story begins. A hardened piece of die grease and metal shavings, called a die cud, broke loose and lodged against the collar, creating a raised, crescent-shaped blob that bleeds into the word Virginia. The result? A coin that looks like a mirage. On first glance, it's a normal quarter. But under magnification, you see a phantom doubling, a copper scar, and a distorted state name that almost seems to vanish and reappear depending on the light. That is why experts call it the ghost of Jamestown. And only 2 examples are known to exist in any grade above MS-64. Now, here's the part that will make you lose sleep. The Mint discovered the problem after approximately 150,000 quarters had been struck. Their standard protocol was to pull the defective dies, recertify the production line, and here is the kicker, melt down every single error coin they could recover. But in the chaos of a high-volume run, a small handful slipped through. Most numismatic historians believe fewer than 50 ghosts of Jamestown quarters ever entered circulation. And of those 50, only 2 have been professionally graded and authenticated by PCGS or NGC. The rest? They're out there, in drawers, in toll booths, in the bottom of a purse. And because the error is subtle enough to escape casual inspection, thousands of people have likely handled one, shrugged, and spent it on a bag of chips. That, right there, is the spender's tragedy. But you're not a spender anymore. You're a collector. Let's talk about that $818,000 figure. In late 2023, a private collector anonymously offered that amount for a confirmed MS-66 example, with all 3 errors intact: the double die obverse, the missing clad layer, and the die cut. The offer was never publicly accepted because the owner, a retired tool and die maker from Ohio, chose to hold for an even higher bid. But the valuation was certified by 2 major auction houses. To put that in perspective, the same quarter in perfect condition without errors is worth 25 cents. With just a double die, about $200. With a clad error added, $5,000. But with the trinity of all 3 anomalies, you cross into 6-figure territory. And here is where urgency becomes your best friend. The market for modern error coins has more than doubled in the last 18 months, driven by Gen X and baby boomer investors who are tired of volatile stocks and want tangible, insurable wealth they can hold in their hand. Auction records are being shattered every quarter. And the ghost of Jamestown has not appeared at public sale since 2019, when a raw, ungraded example sold for just $42,000 because the seller had no idea what they owned. That buyer then certified it, confirmed the errors, and is now sitting on a 7-figure asset. You do the math. So what do you do right now? First, do not, under any circumstances, clean any coin you suspect might be valuable. Cleaning destroys the mint luster and can cut a coin's value by 90% or more. Second, go get a magnifying glass, any cheap loupe, or even a zoom on your phone camera and examine every Virginia quarter from the year 2000. Look specifically at the word Liberty. Do the letters look doubled or triple struck, especially the top of the R? Turn the coin to the reverse. Do you see any patches of reddish-brown copper, showing through the silver surface, especially near the ship's hulls? And finally, look at the word Virginia. Is there a raised, smooth blob that seems to eat into the letters? If you see even one of these features, you do not spend that coin. You do not show it to a pawn shop. You contact a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC immediately, and you pay the express tier. That $200 grading fee could be the best investment of your life. Now, imagine this for a moment. Imagine driving to work next week, stopping at a drive-thru for coffee, getting change back, and seeing a 2000 Virginia quarter that looks slightly off. You put it in your pocket instead of the tip jar. You take it home. You pull out a loop. And there it is, the ghost doubling, the copper scar, the distorted state name. In that single moment, your pocket change becomes a down payment on a house. Your spare change becomes college tuition. Your forgotten coffee can become a retirement fund. That is not fantasy. That is the reality of the modern error coin market. And the only thing standing between you and that reality is a few seconds of attention per coin. But here is the cold, hard truth. Most of you watching this will not check your change. You will finish this video, shrug, and go back to scrolling. And that is exactly why the few who act will get rich. The window for finding a ghost of Jamestown quarter is closing. Every year, more of these error coins are lost to coin-counting machines, melted down by banks, or simply worn down by circulation until their errors become unrecognizable. By 2030, experts believe no more than 10 examples will remain in identifiable condition. And when that happens, the value will not be $800,000. It will be multiple millions. So the question is not whether the coin exists in your pocket. The question is whether you will be the one who finally sees it. Before we close, let me leave you with a challenge. Right now, pause this video again. Go to your car, your couch cushions, your laundry room. Find every quarter from 2000. Line them up. Spend 60 seconds looking at each one. I promise you, someone watching this will find something. Maybe not the full ghost. Maybe a double die. Maybe a clad error. But even a partial error on a Virginia quarter is worth more than $100 today. And $100 found in your couch is $100 you did not have 5 minutes ago. That is free money. That is hidden wealth. And that is the power of becoming a collector instead of a spender. Next week, we're going to reveal another ultra-rare coin that is still hiding in plain sight. A nickel from 2004 with a wounded eagle error that has quietly appreciated 4,000% in just 3 years. You will not want to miss that video, because the early birds who watch it before the mainstream catches on will be the ones scooping these coins from bankrolls and Coinstar reject trays. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready to see your pocket change in a way you never have before. Until then, keep your eyes open, keep your change close, and never underestimate what a quarter can do. The ghost of Jamestown is out there, and it just might be waiting for you.